Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be using a common ingredient. If you have a garden, if you live in a heat wave state like me, you know the one thing that never ever dies, zucchinis, and you get a lot of them. So what are we gonna do with these today? Now I did ask on Instagram and I did get some votes, but I went a completely different direction and I got on my summer dress. So we are going to make a keto apple pie, but with zucchinis instead, and it is going to be delicious. This is one of my favorite recipes for the summer. So let's go take a look at the garden. I'll show you what we got in there and then we'll start cooking. Okay, so step one, what we are gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna just pick up the zucchini and I'm gonna start peeling it. Once it is peeled, you're gonna wanna slice and dice it. I like to let it dry out a little bit because zucchini is like cauliflower and it does also absorb a lot of water. So you'll see me do that here. Alright, so we are back and we are at the stove. I waited about 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half with my zucchini, and I kind of flipped it a little bit in napkins. Like I said, zucchini does have a lot of water, so you want to make sure that that is fully drowned out. Now we have our little pan set up here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take some butter. I like to buy the Kerrygold butter, found at Costco. Delicious. Probably the best butter out there. So I'm probably going to take about 2 tablespoons of this. I like to leave it on the counter if I know that I'm gonna be baking. That way it's nice and soft. So we're gonna put that in our pan. And we're gonna get that nice and browned. Once that is brown, we're gonna add in the zucchini and then I'll show you some spices. Okay, so once your butter gets this nice brown consistency, you're gonna wanna add in the zucchini. Don't let it get too dark because then you're gonna burn the butter, but it looks perfect. So here's my zucchini. I would say this is about 2.5 cups, 3 cups. It's 1 large zucchini from my garden. If you're buying it from the store, I'd probably go with 2 to 3 small size ones. So with this, I have monkfruit sweetener, about 1/4 cup, 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and 1 tablespoon of nutmeg. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sprinkle this on top. Beautiful. And we're just gonna mix this up. It already smells like apples in here, delicious. All right, so now that is nice and covered, we're just gonna let that sit here for about 20 minutes and I'm gonna go ahead and cover that. All right, so we have our apple concoction here. It's been going for a couple minutes. I'm just gonna add 1/2 cup of lemon juice, just so it could boil slightly in there and get nice and soft. Mix that up. And then we're gonna add in some xanthan gum to thicken it up. Xanthan gum can be tricky, and it normally is at first. If you just slop it in there, it's gonna become a ball and it's gonna be kind of hard to work with. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sprinkle it. And once you do that, you'll just wanna mix it in pretty quickly so it doesn't clump up at all. This will really get you that gooey consistency with your apples that you're gonna want. So last time, mix. Okay, now we're gonna let this incorporate for about 15 more minutes. Okay, so we are back. While our zucchini is over there in the background steaming, and you will wanna stir it often, because if not, it will burn to the bottom of your pan and you do not want that. We are gonna go ahead and make the topping. So I have this awesome Cuisinart I got from my dad, the best. So that is a good thing to use here. So we're gonna go ahead and chop up our pecans. I have about a cup here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pour these in. Dun, 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 dun. Now we're gonna wanna get these chopped before. Okay, so I have the cup of pecans in the Cuisinart. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pulse it a few times. And then after that, I'm gonna add in a few more ingredients. That way it's just all mixed together in here, and we can put that on top of our zucchini apple concoction and stick it in the oven for the final result. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Yeah, so depending on how thick you want it, you could decide then. And then we're gonna add in some almond flour to this as well. I am going to do 1 cup of almond flour and then 1 tablespoon of cinnamon to that, just for a little extra seasoning here. So we're gonna add that right on top here. Be careful you don't spill out your ingredients. And then we are gonna add in butter. So I would say about 6 tablespoons of butter. That way it gets it nice and sticking together. Okay, so I got my 6 tablespoons of butter chopped off here, and we're just gonna drop that in there. I would always suggest using room temperature ingredients, cream cheese and butter. That way it mixes better for you. So once you have that all set up, we're just gonna go ahead and give that one more pulse. Okay, so your contraction should look a little bit like a graham cracker topping. Kind of like this, and spreadable with your fingers. So now that we got that, let's go ahead and check on our apples. All right, so here we are back at the apples squash concoction, and it looks pretty good here. It's getting thick and looks like a real apple crumble. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna start panning this all together. So what you're gonna need, a little pan. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this glass one just for the looks. You will wanna spray that with some sort of cooking oil. Nice coat. From there, I am going to go ahead and grab my zucchini apples. That is a very hot pan, so I'm gonna, let me grab another one. Try to get some more sauce so that doesn't go to waste here. Okay. That is going to be set to the side. Now we have this apple mixture. Looks like real apple pie. So once we have this, I'm going to go ahead and get our topping mixture we had over here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take this out of here. You will want to work it with your hands a little bit, just because the butter did not get too separated. As you can tell, there's still kind of clumps here, which is fine. I think it's better when you have it a little thicker. So once that's a little incorporated with your fingers, we're just gonna wanna go ahead and pour that over. I'm just gonna pat mine down a little bit. All right, looks beautiful. One last thing before I put it in, just to make it look a little bit more presentable, and because I didn't put any sweetener in the actual crust here, I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit here on top. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add some extra cinnamon as well. All right, so now our apple pie looks ready, and I'm gonna go ahead and place it in the oven at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes. All right, so we are back, and I have my apple pie. It's cooled from the oven. It looks beautiful and caramelized on the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and place some and try it for you guys. Now, keep in mind, if you wanna have this with like some low carb ice cream, there's lots of good options out there, like Rebel and Halo Top and Enlightenment. Like, there's literally everything out there. I got a lot of this because I really like it. Now, if you look in here, you're gonna be able to see the apple layer on the bottom. It's almost like a caramel. It looks absolutely beautiful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna top this with some whipped cream. Now we got a little bowl, and I'm gonna try it for you guys. I got me some zucchini chunks, as you can see. It's still a little steamy. Very good. I love the taste of the butter. Kerrygold butter definitely makes it. It's not too sweet, so if you want to up the sweetener, I would definitely do so, but it does taste amazing. You can always add extra sugar on top if somebody likes sweet and somebody doesn't. So very versatile recipe. Definitely try it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.